Yes, guys, we're back here on our preview and predicted lineup, and today it is Arsenal versus Newcastle for our game tomorrow at the Emirates Stadium. We've got two. I mean, look at them. They've taken over. The Newcastle fans have taken over my channel, lads. We've got Jack here from Toon TV, as well as Carl from 100% Mags and Jeff. Starting off for you, Jack. Thanks for going on. First time on my channel. How you doing, bro?
I'm not doing too bad. Well, doing better this season for sure. Now we're third in the league, better than last season for sure. But a bit disappointed about the result on Saturday, but hoping for a better result tomorrow.
Definitely. And same question to you, Carl, bro. Obviously, I was on your channel a few minutes ago, and yeah, it was great. But you're happy enough to come on my channel as well. So yeah, how you doing, man?
Yeah, I'm doing great, mate. And like I say, thanks for coming on the channel as well. Do the video. If anybody wants to go check that out, of course, I'm sure Josh will leave the link down in the description below. Go check that video out over on my channel. But yeah, it's first time being on this channel. Hopefully, day goes well, and hopefully, the match goes well as well for Newcastle tomorrow, and we'll pick up the win.
Definitely, yeah. So of course, we'll talk about my team first. Top of the league, we're flying right now. We lost one game all season, 7 points clear, and yeah. Sign off with you, Jack. What's been your thoughts about Arsenal this season, mate?
They've been better than last season, that's for sure. Yeah. But I think now the Arteta has really kicked in. I think he's managed the team better. Also, they brought Gabriel Jesus in, and they brought Saliba back. And I think your team has really clicked this season, and I think you played as a proper unit and a proper team with a team spirit, and you just made things happen. You used your fast wingers, you've used your striker. The whole team's just clicked, and you're using all your strengths to good, and I think that's what's getting you goals, and that's what's getting you results. So I think the Arteta management's clicked in. You definitely can see what he's learned from Pep. And I think your team has really been a unit this season, and you've really created chances, and you've looked far better this season, that's for sure.
100%, bro. Yeah, 100% agree with you. Same question to you, obviously, Carl. Your thoughts about Arsenal this season?
Yeah, similar to Jack, he's all doing really well this season. Still yet to come up against a really big challenge. I think, like I said on my channel, this game will be the big challenge that Arsenal's been kind of dreading in a way. Of course, we won against us at St James's Park last season, 2-0. Ben White scored that own goal. Of course, you won 2-0 the Emirates against us in the reverse of that fixture. So, of course, this is sort of the rubber match for this one, with we're both picking up wins last season. I think it's going to be an interesting game. Have done really well, like I say, but still yet to come up against that really big challenge. And I think, we will be that challenge tomorrow.
Definitely, yeah. Before I move on, I've got so many comments. We got everyone watching as always. Make sure we will smash lights up. Big up, man, Dominic, he says support from Georgia. Big up all the support around the world. Really appreciate it. We've got Arsenal fan reviews from Ireland as well. Hi, guys. Big up to you, my friend. Big up to Ryan as well. Hi to Bobby, RD12 as well. Big up to you. Big up now as well. Appreciate the sub, my friends. Make sure you sub to both of these channels as well. They are in the title, so you click their link and you could just go straight to their channel. And then we've got this guy. I've never seen him in the chat before. He's a Newcastle fan. Let's have it. Toon Army, great channel, mate. Good to see Toon TV on here as well. Should be a great game tomorrow. You are flying. Yeah, mate, I appreciate the support. Obviously, yeah, well, I mean, both of us flying right now in the Premier League. I think it's going to be a fantastic game tomorrow. Really looking forward to it. So, yeah, obviously, my thoughts, I'm buzzing as an Arsenal fan right now. Haven't seen Arsenal do this well my whole life pretty much because I'm still young. So, yeah, it's great to see. I mean, obviously, the downside for Arsenal is we are injured with Jesus, big player for Arsenal. We've got Eddie Nketiah up front for our next 8 games now. So, we're going to see how he does. But anyway, yeah, moving on to your team now. And thoughts about Newcastle. Of course, you both must be buzzing with how you're doing, with how you're doing this season. Because as I said on your channel, Carl, like the last time Newcastle really was challenging for the league was back in 2003, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And under Steve Bruce as well, it was just some dark times for you. Like you was fighting relegation, and I remember thinking about last season. no, not last season, when a few years ago when you had Steve Bruce, right? And we beat you 4-0 at the Emirates. Going into that game, I knew that this would be like, obviously not those teams easy, but I think, yeah, very confident. But now it's so much different this season. I'm really nervous. I'm actually dreading this game, to be honest, because I do think you lot will really give us a good game. But yeah, sign off for you, Jack. What's your thoughts on, of course, Newcastle this season?
Where do I start? I think the defence has definitely played a lot better. We've made investments in the summer, bringing Botman in, putting Target on a permanent, bringing in players such as Isak in. I think we've really improved in ways that we needed to improve in. The defence was not good enough last season. I think Dan Burnham's share wasn't the strength, that wasn't 100% going to get us clean sheets as well. Botman, we were chasing him from January to the summer. I think that we needed Botman really, and he's such a Rolls Royce in that defence. He's composed on the ball, he's calm, he can pass the ball. We've kind of experimented in the squad, Eddie Howe, with what works and what we can do. Obviously, we had plenty of injuries, including Wilson, Maximin, and we didn't really. I think the main focus of it all was Miggy Almiron. The way he's been playing the past month has been absolutely incredible. Did not see that coming at all. And I do think now, this January window, we do need to improve in depth and players like understudies. But for me, the team is clicked as a unit, like I said, with Arsenal. And I think we're playing as a whole. The back five's a unit, the midfield's a unit, the front three's a unit. We play as a team, and we're just a complete team. And I'm so happy with our performance so far.
Definitely, man. Yeah, I still have been very impressed with you lot. I thought Eddie Howe's done a fantastic job when he's came into you lot after, because I said this on your channel as well, Carl. When you was, I'm pretty sure you was fighting relegation under Steve Bruce, right, weren't you? And then he came in, got you 11. And then, of course, the takeover plays a big part for you lot as well. You signed some amazing players like Bruno Guimaraes. Happy to take him at Arsenal, but you know he went to you lot. What's a player? And with Eddie Howe as well, he's got players like Almiron. You know, he's been on some amazing form. He's been firing for you lot, and even like Joe Willock has been used to play for Arsenal. Even he's been superb for you lot. And yeah, even like Joe Linton as well. You know, he's came really good for you. So. Yeah, 100% agree with what Jack said. So yeah, now for you, Carl, your thoughts, of course, on your team this season.
Yeah, I second what Jack said. We've been fantastic with the defence this season. We've really come on straight, and that's an area that we really needed to improve, and we have improved it. We've brought in a fantastic player in Sven Botman, who we were looking at in January. We've managed to bring him in for this season. He's been absolutely fantastic in that back alongside Fabian Shaw. Nicky Pope has been fantastic in goal as well. Of course, you know, he's already ahead in the clean sheets in the Premier League as well. Almiron has come into his stride this season. He's started to show, you know, the ability that he was shown in the MLS for Atlanta United before he joined Newcastle. And he's put in some really good performances this season, and you know he deserves to be where he is right now in the goal scorers in the Premier League with 9 goals. That is absolutely fantastic numbers for a winger. He's probably one of the best wingers in the Premier League right now as well, in my opinion. By the way he's playing, he's just absolutely on fire. He's putting in fantastic performances, and that is mostly down to himself, but also down to Eddie Howe as well. It's the Eddie Howe factor, as we like to call it, in Newcastle United. We've seen it, you know, with the likes of Joe Linton. You know, Eddie Howe's came in. Joe Linton's been fantastic since Eddie Howe came in, and that's something, you know, that I've been saying. You know, and quite a few other fans I've seen of Newcastle's said as well that, you know, once a decent manager comes in, somebody, you know, that knows how to get the best out of players, we would see the best out of Joe Linton. He was never meant to be a striker. When you look at him, it's Hoffenheim. He was a winger playing at Hoffenheim. So, you know, for him to come from the Bundesliga to Newcastle and be playing as a striker, that's always going to be a massive step for him to take. And then also the pressure of having to wear the number 9 shirt as well. That's going to weigh heavy on any player, you know, at the end of the day, because that is a massive, massive number at Newcastle. You know, that is sort of similar to the number 7 shirt at Liverpool. You know, it's a very massive number. It weighs heavy on a player's back, especially the kind of players that have played in that shirt as well. You've got the likes of Supermac, you've got the likes of Alan Shearer. You know, you've got quite a few big players that have played wearing the number 9 shirt. Jackie Milburn, you know, massive icons of football in yesteryear and in the modern day game, you know, and it's always going to weigh heavy, but it's nice to see, you know, that Joe Linton is now starting to see his game improve thanks to, you know, Eddie Howe coming into the club. We're seeing the likes of Almiron improving under Eddie Howe as well, but not only the players that were at the club improving, but also seeing players come in like the likes of Bruno Guimaraes, who you were looking at. We managed to get him. You know, he's been fantastic since he's come to the club as well. He's put in absolutely amazing performances. The literal, you know, brain on this player, you know, the IQ, the football IQ of Bruno is just fantastic. He looks at a play, you know, and sees where he needs to pass that ball. It's sort of similar to what we see with Man City's Kevin De Bruyne. You know, he takes one look and then he already knows that that player's going to be moving to that position. You can get that ball there. And hopefully we'll see more of that tomorrow from Bruno. But we're doing absolutely fantastic at the minute, and I'm absolutely buzzing. I'm absolutely buzzing with it.
Definitely, like as I said, like obviously I've been so impressed of how well you've done this season, and you've only lost one game. Same with us. We lost Man United 3-1 at Old Trafford. You got very unlucky, very controversial against Liverpool when you lost 2-1 last minute Carvalho goal. That was so disappointing. And I also look at Newcastle, and I think when you play against the Big Six this season, right, you know how to put a good game and put a good fight. Go to Man City game, 3-1 up, right, and yeah, you bottled it, but you know, going 3-1 up against Man City is something teams don't do that often. So disappointing that you bottled it. You still got a point out of that game. And of course, when you played against teams like Tottenham, you know, I know Tottenham bottled draws, but you beat them. Obviously, Man United's you 0-0 draw, and Chelsea, you beat Chelsea, didn't you?
Yeah, 1-0.
So, look, I mean, against the Big Six, you really do put up a good fight. This is why I think it's going to be a very tough game for Arsenal tomorrow, and I think it's going to be a very tight, you know, good game, because you lot are flying. We're both flying this season, and yeah, it's great to see. I said it on your channel as well. I said, if you do sign in January, right, and you get in the play, because you've got the money, if you get in the players for a few other positions that you need, I can generally see Newcastle getting top 4 this season. I'm not even joking. So, but no, yeah. We've got a comment here. I think this mirrors on nicely to our next topic as well. We'll talk about both the managers. I think Eddie Howe and Arteta are very similar. They have bought the same. They have bought this the togetherness of their players and got the best out of them. It will be good. It'll be a good test to see where we are tomorrow. I think it'd be good. Yeah, 100%. I think for both teams as well, because we've got a very tough run coming up, and this game will definitely determine our title challenge as well. But if we lose this, questions will be asked about, you know, whether we're capable enough to, you know, win the title. And for Newcastle as well, I think what this guy said here, he said, you know, that we are flying. So I don't know. I mean, of course, you'll be disappointed if you do lose tomorrow. But I mean, sign off for you, Jack. How confident are you of beating Arsenal tomorrow at the Emirates? Bearing in mind that the last time you beat us was 2010, so we do have a very good record against you at the Emirates.
I'm not scared of anyone. I'm not scared of playing anyone at all. I think we've got the players to do it. We've got the manager to do it. We've got the, I won't say we've got experience, because we're pretty much just the only we didn't really expect this sort of start of the season. We expected top 8 at best. But I mean, I feel like we've got the fight. I mean, take back to Man City. Look what we did against them. Liverpool unlucky, but I won't consider them top 6 anymore. I think they're crap. But I think we'll go to Emirates tomorrow, and I think we'll show a good fight. I don't think we'll back down from anything. We'll maybe be a bit more defensive, because we need to be careful of the likes of Saka and Martinelli, because they're dangerous. Whether Trippier can keep up with Martinelli, we'll have to find out. We'll have to be more defensively. minded tomorrow, but no doubt in my mind we'll be more attacking as well, because we've got the defensive talent and we've got the attacking talent. And I think we will go to Emirates tomorrow and we will show attacking fight, and we will show Arsenal that we can defend as well, and we'll bring it to you. We'll bring a good game, and whether we'll be off on the word go, like Leicester, maybe we'll be on the front foot, or maybe we'll be on the back foot. We'll have to see. I prefer us to be on the front foot. But yeah, I'd like to see Arsenal play a top 6 side, because I ain't seen you play Man City. I ain't seen you play us yet. I ain't seen you play a top 6, so it'll be interesting what Arsenal do against a top 6 side, and whether you lose against a top 6 side, that may ask questions about your title race, whether you can beat the likes of Man City, us, Chelsea. You'd beat Chelsea. I think anyone would at this rate. But yeah, it'll be exciting to see what Arsenal do against Newcastle, and importantly, it'll be exciting what Newcastle do against Arsenal, whether we'll be defensive or attacking. But yeah, I think it'll be a very good game.
Definitely, I 100% agree. Before we go on to Carl, I've got RD12. He says the issue with some of our fan base is they're waiting for a negative result to happen before they jump on Arteta the players. It's been like that for years, mate. You know, they've always been, half the fan base always been negative, unless we win a league title. So. But yeah, no, Carl, I've got this question here, right? Eddie Howe versus Mikel. I want to get your thoughts on, like, you know, both of the managers. Obviously, Eddie Howe, I think, is world class in my opinion. I think the way how he's came into your squad, and you know, that season you was struggling at the bottom, finished you 11th, you know, made you stay up, and you survived. And then this season, I know the money helps, but just looking at some of the players that he's really worked on, like Almiron's the massive example, Joe Linton and all that. What's been your thoughts on Eddie Howe, and as well as Mikel and what he's done at Arsenal as well?
Sort of like what Jack said, you know, both managers are really good. They've done really good so far this season as well. Mikel Arteta was struggling when he first went into the Arsenal job. He was finding his footing, obviously, you know, coming away from Man City, being the understudy to Pep Guardiola. So it's always going to be tough, you know, because then people are going to start comparing you to Guardiola, you know, and it's a tough one because he's a very good manager. He's a fantastic manager. You know, he's a compulsive winner. He knows, you know, he's a serial winner. He knows what he's doing in the game. So it's going to be interesting to see, you know, how this game does play out. Both managers are fantastic. Eddie Howe, you know, a lot of people were criticising Eddie Howe when he took the job in Newcastle. You know, they were saying, "Oh, you're only coming in for the money." You know, he's not going to be fantastic. He's only managed, you know, Bournemouth. He's managed Burnley for a little stint as well. But when you look at, you know, what he did at Bournemouth, you know, he did fantastic at Bournemouth. To take them from being a League Two club to then taking them into the Premier League and keeping them there, you know, for as long as he did as well on a shoestring budget. That just shows, you know, how good of a manager that Eddie Howe really is. And I've been saying that, you know, from the moment I seen Eddie Howe, you know, managing in the Premier League, you could see what kind of a manager he was, the caliber, you know, the potential that was there as well. And I was quite surprised that no other club took a chance on Eddie Howe. You know, when Bournemouth went down, I was quite surprised. Of course, Eddie Howe took absence from the game. He went away. He studied the game a bit more with some great managers like Diego Simeone at Atletico Madrid. You know, he went there. He studied how Simeone does his stuff. Obviously, you know, that's where we're seeing a little bit of the connection as well with Kieran Trippier and Eddie Howe, especially from when he was at Burnley, because, you know, Trippier was there at the time when Eddie Howe was at Burnley. So that's helped that, you know, Eddie Howe has brought in a familiar face that he's worked with before in Kieran Trippier. So that's obviously helped factors here at Newcastle as well. But, you know, both managers are doing really well. Eddie Howe is a manager that is being touted as the next England manager. He's obviously turned that down himself, saying that he wants to stay at Newcastle. He likes the day-to-day work that comes with being a club manager. You don't get that on the international scene. And I think out of the two, obviously it's a biased view here, but out of the two managers, I would say Eddie Howe is the better manager out of the two, between Eddie Howe and Mikel Arteta. He's got the potential to be an absolutely fantastic Premier League manager, given the right backing which he is getting at Newcastle. And who knows, maybe Eddie Howe could be, because he's only 45, he could be here for the next 20 years. He could be, or Alex Ferguson, like Man United, had Fergie for all them years. He could be ours, Eddie Howe could be our Alex Ferguson and go on to win multiple titles, multiple cups. But, it's all about getting it right now so that we can get it right going forward. But that's my thoughts on Eddie Howe and Mikel Arteta.
Definitely, man. Yeah, I do agree with a lot of the stuff you said there. And same question goes to you, Jack. Your thoughts on Eddie Howe and Arteta, and what Arteta's on Arsenal, as well as the same as Eddie Howe for Newcastle.
When I watched the All or Nothing documentary for Arsenal, I was very impressed with Mikel Arteta. It was a bit trying his best here. I think he was a mindset manager, and what I mean by that is he likes to get into the minds of the Arsenal players. At times it may have worked, but I'm very impressed with Arteta. You can see he's learned a lot from working with Pep. I think he plays the same kind of way as Pep, but less passing. But yeah, I think Arteta's a good manager, and I think he is definitely. He's a young manager. He's got plenty more experience to come. I think Eddie Howe's a bit more experienced in that sort of way. I think he's managed more clubs. I think he's gone through a little bit more, as 100% Mag said. He's learned from the likes of Simeone. He's even been to rugby clubs just to learn a bit more about the managing style. And that is really, and he's really thrived off that, and he's really brought that into his management at Newcastle, and that's really showing with how we're playing. And yeah, I think Eddie Howe, he's young as well. He's got plenty more experience to come. He's got plenty more years of management left in him. And I think both managers are good. But yeah, it comes to bias. I think Eddie Howe's more experienced, and I think he's just better. That's obviously bias because I'm a Newcastle fan, of course. And I think Eddie Howe just peaks it over Arteta.
Fair enough, man. Yeah. Well, we're going to move on now to, of course, the upcoming game. We're going to go through our lineups and all that stuff. So, yeah. Guys, for Newcastle, how many injuries have you got?
Kraft is out. Isak is scheduled to be back just after the FA Cup game. Wilson's good. Trippier's good. Mainly the big ones are Isak and Kraft. That's it, really.
Yeah, for us, obviously, I think you guys know it's Gabriel Jesus. Smith Rowe has played really well against you last season. He's also injured, and then Nelson, who doesn't really play anyway. But yeah, lineups. We're gonna do your sign off with Newcastle. What will be your lineup going into this game, Jack, for Newcastle?
When I was hearing about Trippier being not playing because of due to too many yellow cards, I was a bit worried with what Eddie Howe was actually going to do with his formations. Would he go 5 at the back? Would he go 4 at the back? But now hearing that Kieran Trippier's only got 4, one of them being in the Carabao Cup, I think, that don't count. That don't count. So he can play. So now Trippier can play. I'm going to go 4-3-3. Nick Pope in goal. Dan Burn left back. Because obviously Matt Targett can't play. He's injured. Botman and Cher, centre-backs, and Kieran Trippier right back. Then the 3 in midfield. I'm not going to start Joe Willock. The reason being, I think Joe Willock's had too many chances to perform. I think Sean Longstaff has performed week after week so far since he's been in the 6th role. And he's performed very well. And Willock against Leicester, he didn't have the best of games. And Saturday, he was non-existent. And I think he's had too many chances to perform. And I think Willock needs to be dropped, and he needs to earn his place back. So I'd drop Willock. I'd go Joelinton, Bruno, and Sean Longstaff in the midfield. And then Maxey was immense again on Saturday when he came on. He ran at plays, he crossed ball into the box, got players into the game, and that's what we missed, and that's what we needed against Leeds. But it's just a shame that he didn't come on earlier or he didn't start. So I would start Maximin today and tomorrow. Sorry, I would start Maximin. I would start Miggy. We've got no option really. He's our only right winger at the minute. And Wilson, I was impressed with. We're not starting Chris Wood, let's be honest. He was absolutely diabolical on Saturday. He is a championship striker at best. He really, really, really gets on my nerves, that man. He really, really, really does. All he does is holds off defenders. That's all he does. He doesn't do anything else. And that is not a Premier League striker, and that is not going to win you games against the likes of Arsenal. So Wilson has to start. Whether he's not even fit enough, he has to start. Chris Wood is not going to do anything apart from penalty. So I would start Wilson.
Yeah, fair play. 100% Mags, do you agree with Jack's lineup? Would you change anything from his lineup?
I would go similar to pretty much an unchanged squad, but a few players from what we played against Leeds. I would go with Wilson instead of Chris Wood. I agree with Jack on that one. I think Chris Wood doesn't really get it going in the game much for Newcastle. When he's playing, we've got to play a different style of play. When Wilson plays, we get that ability from Wilson because he's got the speed to be able to press players faster, quicker. So I would go with Wilson instead of Chris Wood. Obviously, pretty much the same squad as what we played against Leeds with Nick Pope in goal, Trippier right back, Fabian Shaw centre back, Botman, Dan Burn in the left back position, obviously, because he's been doing fantastic there. It gives Weir the ability as well, because not only does he play left back, but he moves inside to that centre back role as well when he's called upon to do so. Bruno, obviously, you're never going to take Bruno out of the squad. He's doing absolutely amazing, fantastic performances by Bruno. Longstaff, however, I would take out. I would play somebody else instead of Longstaff in that position. Who at the moment, though, I'm not quite sure on. Maybe Elliot Anderson. Give Elliot Anderson a go in there instead of Longstaff. I was very frustrated with the way Longstaff was just belting the balls over the goal in the game against Leeds. I thought that was really bad. There was a chance where he did have a chance to pass the ball off to Big Joe inside the penalty area. He would have just smacked into the net. That would have been a goal for Newcastle there, but Longstaff decided to just completely ignore him and smack it over the goal, which wasn't great. He definitely needs to work on his long shots. He's having trouble with them for me with Longstaff, but maybe Elliot Anderson coming in for Longstaff. Joe Willock definitely staying in because he's coming up against his former club in Arsenal, of course, so it would be a great chance for him to maybe get a goal in the game against Arsenal. That would be great to see him scoring against Arsenal if he celebrates. However, I don't know. I don't think he will, though, to be honest. But Almiron definitely staying in the side. Joe Linton definitely staying in the side as well. Maxi could possibly come in there. Maybe you could move Joe Linton into that midfield role with Maxi moving out onto the wing. That would possibly be another way that we could deal with that Longstaff situation there. That would be a good one too. But definitely Wilson up front. That would be how I would line up this squad going into the game against Arsenal.
Yeah, for fair play, man. And for Arsenal, we've played the same team for the whole season pretty much, and it's got us challenging for the league title. So I wouldn't change anything. I mean, RD12 played it right here for us. Ramsdale, White, Saliba, Gabriel, either Tini or Zinchenko. I do prefer Tini, but he's going to Zinchenko, fair enough. Partey, Xhaka, Odegaard, Saka, Martinelli, and of course Nketiah because Jesus is injured. So yeah, obviously, like what I do every single preview, right? With if I can get many fans from other clubs as possible, we usually do like a combined 11. So how many players we're getting, we do like a team, Newcastle and Arsenal combined. So if you guys want to do that, then I'll go through you and go through each position. So goalkeeper for me, Nick Pope and Ramsdale, both two very good goalkeepers. And you know what? I'm biased aside. I'm going to give it to you lot. I think Nick Pope is world class, and for me, he's going to go in goal. So, yeah, do you guys agree? I presume you do.
110%.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Yeah, Nick
even if you look at stats, I mean, he's got most clean sheets in the Premier League. He's, based on stats, the best Premier League goalkeeper this season. So only just though. Don't get me wrong, Aaron Ramsdale's a brilliant goalkeeper, but I feel like Nick Pope, no bias at all. I'm basing this off stats as well. Nick Pope just gets above Aaron Ramsdale for me.
Yeah, so fair enough. Right back, of course, we're playing Ben White at the moment. He's originally a centre back, but he's been doing really well. Right back, he's had a fantastic season. You've got Kieran Trippier, and again, I'll give it Kieran Trippier. I think he's world class, Kieran Trippier. You know, and I finally say that because I couldn't say that when he played for Tottenham. I actually rated him when he played for Tottenham as well, but I'm an Arsenal fan, so I can't do that. But I'm glad he moved to you lot. I can rate him now. I mean, the guy's world class. Simple as that. Right back for me, Trippier. You guys agree, of course?
Yeah, I fully agree with that.
Since he's gone to Atletico Madrid and learnt from Simeone, he's become even more world class. And he's definitely an experienced right back as well. And that's the sort of player we needed. Definitely.
Then the centre backs. This is where I will throw on Arsenal player in. I'll put William Saliba. Guy's been so good. You know, Rolls Royce, and I'll give you Botman as well. I've been really impressed with Sven Botman. Who's your other centre back? Is it Cher?
Cher, yeah.
I'll give Botman. I think Botman's been very. You signed him from Lille, wasn't it, in France?
Yeah.
Lille, yeah.
Lille. So he's been really good. Yeah. Saliba, Botman, and then left back. We have Tierney, or who's your left back?
Dan Burn.
You
could choose between Matt Targett or Dan Burn, but Dan Burn's been playing the majority of left back.
I'm gonna have to go Tierney. What would you guys go for?
I would go Dan Burn.
Dan Burn, fair enough, man.
It's a tough one. I mean, we haven't conceded in loads of games, and we've got the best defensive record in the Premier League, so you have to go Dan Burn, really. He's been too solid. And Arsenal have been conceding a lot of goals. So it's got to be Dan Burn for me. No bias at all.
He opens up that option as well, doesn't he? Like I just said earlier, he opens up that option to move into the centre-back role as well.
Yeah. Before we move on to the midfield, I've got some comments I've been missing. So, big up onto the ball, Liverpool fan. Big up Josh. Big up to you, man. He says, come on, Newcastle. Yeah. Sorry about Liverpool, mate, but you lot are finished. Arteta have been a lot more ruthless than before because in the past we were handing out contracts to Kolasinac and Mustafi. Yeah, it's very true, my friend. How do you think the Arsenal fans would respond to if Arteta, if he was to lose? That's a good question. I do think people, mate, even when we was finishing 8th back to back, everyone was trusting the process. That's been the key buzzword for Arsenal, was trust the process. And yeah, look, obviously, I had my doubts about Arteta when we was finishing 8th. We were 15th at one point. A couple of Arsenal football clubs, you should not be 15th. And we also lost Europa League some semi-finals with Villarreal. So Emery, who we sacked for not being good enough, that was just embarrassing. But I give credit to Arteta because my man has really, this season, turned it around. And as what Jack said about the Amazon documentary, he looked very, very, ruthless in that. So yeah, let's just hope we say it's challenging for the league title. But yeah, if we lose to Newcastle, I don't think it'll be blame on Arteta at all. I think it'll probably be like the players or whatever. That's what our fans do.
Arteta
out. Literally. After one game, yeah. Hopefully Saka doesn't receive another yellow card or else he's suspended for the North London derby. That's the same with Saliba. Yeah, if he gets 5 yellow cards, you're out, aren't you? So
that's the same with Cher and Trippier as well. We've got 2 players on the 4.
Also, fan of Field says Rams are over Pickford. I think he means England. Yeah.
Nick Pope over Pickford.
Nick Pope, exactly. Nick Pope, yeah.
Anyone gets over them T-Rex arms.
I'll take Bruno as a backup and Pope via the sides. Zinchenko and Tierney, you have a burn any day. Fair enough. So yeah, midfield then we have got Thomas Partey for me. The guys, if we ain't got Partey, our midfield is it's not the same with Thomas Partey. It's so important to Arsenal. For me, Bruno Guimaraes has to get in there. As I said, I'm a big fan of him. I rate him very highly. I think we should have signed him when he was at Lyon, but you lot picked him up. He's been fantastic for you lot. And then Yeah, obviously we got Granit Xhaka as well. Xhaka's had a great season. So who would be
I'd
your
go Xhaka.
You go
I'd go
Granit Xhaka.
Xhaka. I'd go Xhaka, Bruno, and Partey. I think Xhaka and Partey have been two of the best CDMs so far this season. They've been immense. They've been solid, and I think they do get into my midfield. But Bruno, 100%. Bit bad on Odegaard because Odegaard has been world class so far this season. But for me, Bruno. I mean that's 50-50 for me, Bruno and Odegaard. But I would go Bruno.
Do you agree? 100%, Mads.
I would go with Partey, Bruno, and Big Joe. Them the three that I'd go with, because Big Joe, literally when he's on his game, nobody can stop him. He's an absolute powerhouse. Sort of similar to Vieira in Arsenal. Sort of similar to that. He was getting likened to Vieira as well there when he started putting in these performances. He's an absolute tank, and nobody better cross him on his day, because he's an absolute monster out there on the field. Once he gets going, nobody's stopping him.
I'm changing my midfield, by the way. I'm putting Big J7 in.
Oh,
fair enough, man. Fair enough. I think Ramsdale saves that Tchouaméni goal in the quarters. Yeah, that's a bit. I don't know.
It was a good goal. I'm not sure any goalkeeper might save that.
Quality goal, yeah. So yeah, we want to see attack now. This attack is really hard to choose in my opinion, because you've got Almiron, who's been absolutely unbelievable. You've got Saint Maximin as well. I mean, on his day, I remember when we played you last season, you beat us 2-0. Him against Ben White. Ben White was no, it wasn't Ben White. I think it's Tomiyasu. Tomiyasu was, yeah, he was getting a bit twisted up by Saint Maximin. So, but I will give you a striker, because obviously Jesus injured. I'm not really impressed with Nketiah. I know he scored 2 goals in 2. I'll go, of course, Callum Wilson. Got called up for England as well, didn't he, in the World Cup? Played against, was it Iran? He came off the bench.
He didn't even start. He came on against Iran, and he came on against USA, was it?
Might be
Wales, I think.
But, mate, again, last season...
That's it, yeah, Wales.
Yeah, Wales. And then last season when we played you beat us 2-0 again. He was causing us all sorts of problems. So, for me, Wilson up front. Saka, for me, has to be on the right wing. And then left wing, Martinelli or Saint Maximin, innit? Or can you play Almiron left wing? Because I want Almiron in my team, man.
Almiron tends to play cam or right wing. He don't tend to play on he can play on the left, but he tends to play on the right.
All right, what might I do? Because Saka sometimes plays on the left wing. Put Saka left wing, Almiron right wing, and then Wilson up front. That'd be my front three.
But then you're still missing out Maxi.
Oh, yeah. Wait, I'm not giving you all the front threes to Newcastle. No, man. Well, go on then. What will be your front three then?
I'll let Jack go first. Do you want to go first, Jack?
I don't mind. Bear in mind, this is no bias at all. Promise. Maxi on the left. I think he likes to drive at players, and he takes on players, and he's an exciting player. Martinez is a world-class player, but I feel like Maxi's just got that bit of edge of quality in him. When he's on his day, sometimes he can be right lazy, but some days he can be on it. Which I'm going to go Maxi. Right wing, based on this season, Saka and Almiron have been 50-50 with Premier League team this season so far. But most people have been saying Almiron, and rightly so. I think Almiron just gets above Saka. Based on that Saturday's performance, he was not good at all. But the Leicester performance and the recent performances since then, he's been world class, and I have to go Almiron. And up front, I don't know. Wilson, he's been injured a lot of the season, but he has scored goals pretty much every game he's played. So has Gabriel Jesus, but he's been on a little bit of a goal drought for a bit. But I've had to go Callum Wilson. He's scored more, and he's been the all-around number 9 really for Newcastle. And he bosses defenders about, and he's that one number 9 you want in a player. So I'd go Callum Wilson. No bias, I promise, by the way.
I'd agree with Jack on that. I'd agree with Jack. I'd go with Maxi on the left. I'd go Miggy on the right. Callum Wilson up top. They've just been absolutely fantastic this season. They've put in some really good performances. And, of course, Almiron's playing his best season of his career. some absolutely amazing goals. He's literally having a goal of the season competition with himself with some of these goals that he's scored this season so far. Unfortunate not to get the goal, of course, in the Leeds game. Would have been nice to see him continue on that goal scoring run, but it is what it is. Hopefully, he can pick it up in this game against Arsenal and get a goal in this one. But that would be my front three. I'd go Maxi left, Miggy right, and Wilson up top. And obviously, it's a biased opinion, unfortunately, but that's the way it is, I guess.
Fair enough, man. Fair enough. To be fair, Arteta pulled the rabbit out of the hat, chasing off Douglas Luiz on deadline day, rejected him in the last minute to score against Spurs. He knew everyone was coming. Yeah, that's a butterfly effect, my friend. He's predicted one: Pope, Just, White, over Trippier, really. Saliba, Botman, Zinchenko, Partey, Bruno or Xhaka, Almiron / Odegaard, Saka, Wilson, Martinelli.
Which one are you choosing? Bruno, Xhaka, or Almiron, Odegaard?
Yeah. Personally, it's for me.
Almiron or Odegaard? What?
Yeah, that's confusing me.
It's comparing a few players out of position, though. I'd compare Bruno to Odegaard, for being honest.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know, man. It's confused me a little bit.
What formation is he playing?
Yeah, like I do not get that's confusing. I can't lie. Villa boys, that's the Villa, mate. You must be buzzing beating them. I'm happy for Emery as well. But yeah, big up to you. Thanks for joining, bro. I think we're forgetting how many points were ahead of Newcastle. I wouldn't take any Newcastle players over our players. Really?
Well, if you take a look at the table in a minute, you'll see that we've had like 7 draws.
Yeah, exactly. Mate, they've lost one game the whole season, same as us. And that was against
Liverpool. We shouldn't have lost.
We shouldn't have lost that. Nah, man. Bro, I disagree with you, Arsenal fan.
But it is on us as well. We shouldn't have been drawing them games. Some of them games we just didn't
especially
put the ball
against
in the back of the net.
Was it Leeds last weekend? 0-0?
Last weekend, Bournemouth, Crystal Palace, Man United, Brighton.
Because Saka had to make it somehow.
I don't know about Armour and Cam. I don't know. I don't think so.
He's played there before.
For me, Armon's that pacey guy down the wing. He's for me a pacey guy. He's not them ones who likes to dribble past the whole team or pick out players. He's just not that kind of player for me. I think he's more of a winger.
I like him in the wing position a little bit better, like to what he was in the Cam. He was good in the Cam under Rafa, I think it was. We played him in a Cam, and he was pretty good there. But out on the wing, he's definitely playing the best. His pace is just best utilised down that wing. Getting away from the players, it causes a lot of havoc for defences with Almiron out on the wing.
He likes to cut in on his left as well. I noticed that he does like to cut in on his left. That's why I like him on the right. Yeah,
he scored a lot of goals there with his left foot. So
yeah, fair enough. We shouldn't have lost Man United either. Yeah, is what it is, man. I mean, we ain't the Invincibles anymore that we were 2003, 2004. 7 draws, though. Yeah, I think that's what you guys got really sort out in it. Is them draws. Yeah. This is an interesting game. Yeah, Villa boys. Obviously, let us know your predictions and who you're backing for this game. Arsenal or Newcastle. For me, it's gonna be one of the biggest games, one of the best games of the season. I'm pretty sure, because both teams are on fire right now. And yeah, we're gonna move on finally to our predictions, of course. Yeah, look, I want to be confident we're top of the league, but I do think this is where we could honestly drop points. Newcastle, I've got to be fair to you lot. You've been absolutely fantastic this season. And I said about playing against the Big Six. You do not set up. Eddie Howe knows how to set up against the Big Six. And I'm nervous, but which is why I said it on your channel, 100% Mags, that it's going to be a draw in my opinion. I'm going to go 2-2 at the Emirates. 2-2 means to be a cracking game. And yeah, that's my prediction. Jack, do you see Newcastle beating the Gunners at the Emirates?
It's going to be a tight game. Some people say it's going to be a low-scoring game. Some people say it's going to be a high-scoring game. But for me, I can't separate the two. And yet again, for me, it's going to be a draw. I think it's going to be 2-2. I think Miggy's going to get a goal. and I think maybe Maximin might get a goal as well, or Wilson. But it's going to be a tight game under the lights, Emirates, live on Sky Sports. It's going to be an intense game, and I don't see a winner. If it's not 2-2, I see it coming down to the wire. Maybe a last minute winner or a 1-0 maybe. But for me, 2-2.
Yeah, fair enough. And then 100% Mags, your prediction for this game?
Like I said on my channel, I think it might be 1-0 win to Newcastle. But looking at the way the teams are performing this season, it could easily be a draw. You know, both sides are really good. It could easily come down to just, we're both coming away with a point in the game. But on the other side, the Newcastle fan in us, just seeing this being a Newcastle win, I don't know what it is. Just a feeling that I've got going into this game that, we're going to come away with the 3 points here. We've had some pretty good luck against Arsenal. Obviously not in recent years down at the Emirates, of course. But we have had some good luck against them in ours. And you've got to look at all games in the Premier League at the end of the day. You can't just look at the games where, you're on the road. I think if we were to win this game 1-0, I think it could be similar to the game that we're seeing against Chelsea at St James's Park, where, we bag the goal late on and then hold out to get the win. Sort of like that. I think it could be another situation along them lines for Newcastle, but if not, then, it's going to be a draw. Both teams are going to come away from this one with a point, and we'll move on to the next games after that. But I'm hoping, my gut feeling is right. Newcastle are going to come away with the win in the game, but I would go 1-0 win to Newcastle, feeling that, we should only be coming away from this game with bare minimum a point. I just don't want to see Newcastle losing this game. It's just not something that we need to be doing. If we want to be looking at still being in that title race for this season. Obviously, that would only put it to 2 losses forward. But, once you start losing games, you can never seem to get the form back. And I want Newcastle to keep performing the way we're performing for as long as we possibly can. Long may it continue and all of that stuff. But that's my prediction. 1-0 to Newcastle later on, win the game, or feeling that bare minimum a draw in the game.
Fair play, man. Of course, may the best team win. And yeah, so before we do go, I've got comments here. Big up everyone in the chat as always. Still great things to come. I think probably for both teams, to be honest. Because if you look, I said can get Champions League football this season if you do strengthen in January, and we can go and win the league hopefully. Don't get me started on the 49th game against Man United. Mike Riley was the worst referee performance in history. Yeah. I don't want to go back there, man. I'll say 3-2 to Arsenal. That'll be a great game, man. I think 2-1 Newcastle, says Villa boys. Back in the Newcastle. I could be wrong, but because Newcastle don't concede many goals now, they don't, as both of you said, on the bet. Wait, so you've conceded the less amount of goals in the Premier League out of any team?
We've got the best defensive record in the Prem.
Yeah.
There you go then, yeah. Arsenal 3-1. Bold prediction. I don't see that happening. I don't see us going there and hitting 3 passes Newcastle side, to be honest. But no, yeah. Look, guys, been a pleasure. I want to thank both of you for coming on. Sign off for you, Jack. Or just shout out your channel, where they can find you on social media and all that stuff.
Just type up Toon TV on YouTube and I'll come up straight away. So be greatly appreciated trying to get 2K. I just hit 1K, so that's brilliant. Got a preview coming up tonight as well on my channel. So if you want to check that out, that's on at 6:30. So make sure you check that out. And just type up on YouTube Toon TV, and that's where you find me.
Yeah, I've left his link in the title as well. You just click that and you can just subscribe to him. Greatly appreciated. And then obviously same with you, Carl. Obviously I was on your channel earlier today as another class stream today on my channel. Yeah, of course, just shout your channel as well and where they can find you on social media.
Yeah, you can find us at 100% Mags or 100PCT Mags on social media, on Twitter, Facebook, and of course 100% Mags on YouTube as well, where I do all my Newcastle videos, talk about all Newcastle United news, first team under 23s as well when I get it, and also the women's side of the game as well. Which is doing really well at the moment. So well done to the women on what they're doing for Newcastle United. Obviously, just moved into the banner of Newcastle United as well. They have, so that's great to see. The women getting the exposure that they need as well to be able to push forward. But yeah, you can follow us at 100% Mags at 100 PCT Mags on Twitter, Facebook, and of course YouTube as well, where I do all Newcastle United content, and it'd be appreciated if you could subscribe as well, as we're on the road to 2K subscribers.
Definitely, man. Yeah, guys, I want to thank you once again, both of you, for taking the time out to go on my channel today to preview this game. And yeah, as I said, tomorrow's a big day. May the best team win. And our guys on my channel will be back straight after our game for a live match reaction. Will Arsenal continue their good form, or can Newcastle be the first team to upset Arsenal? And, they'll be having the last laugh. But anyway, big up, guys. Thanks, everyone. We're ending this with 10 people watching. Big up Dino as well. Big up to you. Thanks for tuning in today. Good luck to both teams. Good review. Appreciate the support, my man. All the best to your team for the rest of the season as well. And, we'll see you guys later. Come on, you Gunners.